good morning. This morning was quite chilly, and there were ice on the roof and on the car as well. But now it's almost noon and the sun is out, so it's actually beautiful and quite comfortable. I still have my fleece jacket on, but as soon as I start walking in the garden, I'm sure I will need to take that off. So this is the area that I have been working on in the past 2 months on the vegetable garden. If you remember, we planted plants over here, fava beans, peas, and different cooler season vegetables. Unfortunately, we got actually pretty cold by Texas standard in the last few days, and we didn't have enough time for the seedling to establish roots before we hit by this cold weather. So all the seedlings that have popped out are gone. Look like they just disappeared. I'm not sure whether the roots are still there. They might recover. I'm not sure. The only ones survived. The chives, of course, they survived. The fava beans had some leafy damages, but that seems to be survived. And I'm sure they will survive that. I know they can stand frost. And the green onions that survived, and some peas that get pretty bad leaf damage, but they should be okay. So today I'm going to continue my sowing process. One thing I'm going to sow is this garlic that I have been leaving it in the refrigerator for several weeks now, because typically we have short winters. So this garlic will grow, but they will not flower. I actually want to harvest the flower stalk before the flower open up, because that's a very tasty vegetable to cook with bacon and other things. So I have not been able to get that, except last year we had a little bit long winter. So hopefully this year we will get some of that by putting this garlic in the refrigerator for several weeks. Some of them already start to sprouting. Over there, tofu boxes that I got from the home garden when I thinned out my vegetable garden over there. I put them in a tofu box, and they survived the frost and seems to be recovered pretty well. So I'm going to plant them in this vegetable garden so that hopefully we'll at least get some harvest out of this vegetable garden this year, despite the crazy weather we have so far. So this is what our garden looks like after a few days of freezing light. You can still see some green here. Those are either peas or fava beans. Used to be this area had lots of seedlings that I seeded for the cooler season vegetable, but they needed time before the first frost to establish the roots, and that was just not enough time for them. So look like they all disappeared, and only the fava beans and the peas survived. And here are some of the green onions that I planted from the root of the green onions I bought from the store, and they seem to be survived the freezing temperature, and even though they're very growing kind of slow, but at least they survived. Here are bunch of tofu boxes that with some plants in it. These are the plants that I grown in the home garden. They had more time. I had a shaded area, so they had more time to establish during the 100-degree fall time, and so they were not very big, but they seems to be established. So I thinned them out and put the extra seedlings in the tofu box and brought it to the farm. So I can plant these since they are big enough, and they also actually survived. I mean, went through the frost, and didn't seem to have a huge effect on some of the leaves are a little bit burned. But overall, they seem survived the frost pretty well, even when they were in the tofu box. Of course, they were covered in mulch. So I'm going to plant these in this garden area here, and then cover them with straws to help them to fend off the cold a little bit more until they establish the roots. Around this time of year, it's perfect for planting the garlic. And also, I have bought this garlic from grocery stores, not from seed stores. I usually just use the garlic that I bought from grocery store several weeks ago, and I put it in the refrigerator for a few weeks to kind of winterize them, and then I plant them in the ground. The reason I'm doing that is I want to actually grow the stalk. I grow garlic for the leaves and for the stalk, not for the bulbs. Over here is a garlic bulb that I got out of the refrigerator. Over here you can see that it's already start to sprouting. You can just separate it out like this, and that would grow and become another garlic plant. So one thing I want to show you is this stem over here. Of course, right now this is useless. This was the stalk that grow, and it probably had a flower bud on top, and then when they harvest this, they cut it. That is actually what I want to grow because when they are young, they are very tender and they have a very pungent flavor that you can use it to cook with something greasy, and it's very seasonal for winter. So over here in Texas, we usually have a very short winter, so most of the garlic plants were not bought. So that's why I put the garlics in the refrigerator for 4 or 5 weeks, so that before I planted them over here, so that I kind of make them think that they have gone through winter for 5 weeks already, and then maybe they were bought, and then I can harvest their stalk for cooking. To plant garlic bulbs, of course, you just you just separate them into small. Each one of these guys will grow and become a new garlic plant. So all you need is dig a hole and put this with the pointed end up, so that then it will grow, and it will survive winter pretty well. So I still have some left, but for one, I probably get about 15 bulbs or so. So with a 5-head package like this, that you actually get quite a few garlic plants. We did the soil test, and the soil actually have other nutrients, but very low in nitrogen. So I have this coffee grinds mixed with some homemade brews that are high in nitrogen. So I'm going to put this down there, and then I will cover it with straws and water them. So hopefully this time I have better luck than last time. We have a few warm days come, but then after 1 week, we might have some cold weather and rain, which is good, but cold weather, as long as it's not freezing, it's okay. So we'll see how that goes, and hopefully we'll keep trying things to get things going with the garden. And this year the weather has been crazy. Maybe we'll have better luck. Sometimes in Texas, that's all the freezing temperature we will get, and the rest of winter will be just warm and nice. Let's keep our fingers crossed. That's a quick video about how to plant garlic. It's really as simple as it could be. Later on, I will show probably and make a video about how to cook with garlic greens, so please stay tuned. If you like this video, please hit the thumb up button. If you have any question or comments, please leave it down below. If you want to follow our journey with the East by West farms, please hit the subscribe